Welcome to episode 6 of What's Cooking with Bob. Today, in honor of Memorial Day weekend starting and businesses opening up, restaurants here in town are at 50% capacity, and people are coming out of imposed hibernation. I figured it's time we should start this off by showing you how I make my favorite cocktail, the Old Fashioned. It's not old-fashioned, it's old-fashioned, which seems kind of silly, but it's really short for old-fashioned whiskey cocktail. So that's why the DUD. It was actually a little bit of history here. It was invented in 1881, they say, by a bartender in the Pennington Gentlemen's Club, which is not what a gentleman's club is today. It was for gentlemen back then. And he invented this cocktail in honor of Colonel, I knew I'd forget his name. Colonel James E. Pepper. He was the prominent bourbon distiller in the area, and they invented this cocktail in his honor. And he later on brought that up to the Astoria, whatever that place is, the Waldorf Astoria, of course. So he's the one who brought that drink up to there, which is where it became famous. So why are we wasting any more time? Let's get started. First of all, you need bourbon. This is a bourbon drink. It's a bourbon forward drink, and if you don't like bourbon, you're not going to like this. But if you like bourbon, you'll love an old fashioned. And by the way, this recipe I got, Sue and I and Valerie spent a little bit of time sitting at the bar, watching the bartender make more than a few of these for us. And so that's whose recipe I'm using, kinda. So anyway, we'll start with a shot of bourbon. Oh, that doesn't look like much. Start with 2 shots of bourbon. That looks better. And normally it's, do this. Nope, I don't do that. Normally it's 3 shakes. I'll do 6 shakes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this, by the way, is bitters, but it's not just bitters. It's orange bitters, if that makes a difference. And it needs some sweetener in it, so I'm going to put some. The original recipe called for a cube, but where do you get sugar cubes anymore? Nobody has those. So we're going to use about a teaspoon or 2 of sweetener here. And most important is a cherry. And this is not just any cherry. We are talking Bada Bing cherries. Don't get the maraschino, the cheapo stuff. This is the best cherry out there. Bada Bing. Put that in here. And do I have everything? I think I do. We'll stir it up a little bit. And then add an ice cube. And it just so happens I have a special ice cube here I like to use. A round ice cube. We're very careful to put it in so it doesn't splash all the way out. Whoops! I know what I forgot to put in here.
Triple sec.
No. It needs a little bit of water.
Triple sec.
No. A little bit of water. Put in there about a teaspoon or so of water to cut it down a little bit, because it's a pretty strong drink. And now the ice cube. Like a little round ice cube. There. This is a mold we found. Actually, we got this at Goodwill, if I remember correctly. Coolest thing ever. You basically put water in here, you fill it up to the line, you push the top in here and you squeeze it down. A little bit of it comes out the top and you put it in the freezer, and then lo and behold, it makes a round ice cube. So now we have the ice cube in here, we've got bourbon, we have bitters, and a cherry. And I get to test it, isn't it? This is the best part. Cheers. Very good. And yes, it's bourbon drink. So that is it, except for a limited time offer today only. if you stay and keep watching, for the same price of this video, you're gonna get a second cocktail free of charge. You don't even have shipping and handling costs. So we're gonna learn to make, I'm gonna show you how I make an Old Bob fashioned whiskey cocktail. It's very similar. I'll start with ice cubes in this one. Maybe one too many. How could I forget? This needs a little splash of orange here, an orange peel. Take a little twist of it, squeeze out some of the juice there and rub it around the rim, and that gives you a little more orange flavor. How did I forget that? Oh yeah. So, an Old Bob fashioned. You start with a shot of bourbon. Whoops. You don't have to do that, but I usually do. In this one, for the orange flavor and for the sweetness, we're going to use orange liqueur. And I used a shot of this. I'm going to do about a third of a shot of orange liqueur. 3 shakes of the bitters, 1, 2, 3. A cherry, you got to have a cherry. And a little secret here I've learned is you kind of give it a couple fork shakes of cherry juice. It kind of makes it nicer. No sugar in this one because the orange liqueur is it's pretty darn sweet. And then again, a twist of orange rind. And shake around the lips and put it in there. Oh yeah. Very similar. Cheers. A little bit of orange in it, the cherry juice, but this has no sugar. This has a little sugar. I may have to spend the rest of the afternoon trying each one and see which one I like better. They're both pretty darn good. So that's it. This is the Old Fashioned and the Old Bob Fashioned, brought to you free of charge. I hope you enjoy your Memorial Day weekend and stay healthy. Cheers.